Hey guys, Clone Guy here, and today we are going to be reviewing the Falcon T92, the newest Tier 8 premium tank to enter this game. It is an American Tier 8 premium light tank. That's not the Brazil, so that's pretty nice. So let's take some quick looks at it. It's got 400 meters view range, and let's see what its concealment is, and then we'll compare this concealment to the ELC even 90, because that's something I meant to do. And I didn't do it, so we're going to do that now. 32% moving and stationary, which is pretty good. And as you can see, it has 400 meters view range at the bottom, so that's pretty cool. But let's take a quick look now at the ELC even 90 and see what that thing's camo rating is, because I'm pretty sure this is insanely better. And if that's this is the deciding factor for me whether or not this is a good vehicle or not. 39. This is almost 40%. All right, almost 40% camo rating. And what is this even? We had 32 on the really tiny tank and 33. This tank, which is bigger, is actually got a better camo rating than the T92. But that's enough of that. Let's go and jump into this and check it out. Here it is. Here are its stats. But first, let's get to the pricing. You can buy them both together for about 15,000 gold. By itself 10,700, but it has equipment and such. Just the boosts in 30 days, 10,000 loaded for 3 days, and some more other smaller boosts, 7,750. And by itself, it's going to cost you 6,950 gold. This is the skin version. And is it worth? No, it's not. My opinion, of course, my opinion. Everything here is my opinion, but that's why you watch me. Am I right? I think so. Okay, so engine of 600 horsepower and a power. And a rate of fire of 13.95, which is pretty good, giving it a 35.32 horsepower per ton. And I have tanks.gg up here, and we'll get into that in a second, because our Bulldog should be the same as on PC, because they haven't changed it. It was not among the tanks that got nerfed, so it should be the same. And all of these are about the same, minus the aim time, the accuracy, and the rate of fire. And believe it or not, the rate of fire has actually gone up from 13.9 to 13.95, so keep that in mind. Also, the accuracy has been nerfed from 0.36 to 0.38, and the aim time was nerfed from 1.73 to 1.8, so that's a little bit interesting. But other than that, everything is the same, and so that means our DPM is not 2,085. It's actually 2,092.5. So, well, 2,092. So it's 7 more DPM you have on the console version, which pretty much does nothing. But looking at this, you've got green. These are red, rate of fire. But it's good. This one has more alpha. See, 170 instead of 150, so it has better DPM. So there's that. And then we have about the same aim time. Remember, ours is 1.8, so that's about the same. The Bulldog is a little bit more accurate, but we have a little bit better on-the-move gun handling. But that accuracy does mess with this, so keep that in mind. We're slower than it. We have a slightly worse power to weight. Just barely. But you're gonna see, look at the traverse though on the Bulldog as compared. It doesn't really make sense. Like, look at the terrain resistance. It says this thing has really good terrain resistance of 0.29, which I think is the best in this game. I've never seen anything as low as this, but it doesn't translate because the tracks are so skinny, I guess, that it just turns like a boat. This thing, I was crashing into things all day, and I could not circle KV Force, which I think my capture card crashed, so we might not have that game, but I hope we do, so I can demonstrate just how bad this thing is at circling tanks. And turret armor has none to speak of, but I guess that's to be expected. So all in all, that is the quick rundown of the vehicle. Let's jump into some gameplay, and we'll talk about it some more. First game, we find ourselves on steps. I'm platooned up with Rage, Adrenaline. So this is pretty much the same scenario as my stream yesterday, where I'm in a platoon with somebody, but the win rate just, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And unfortunately, I had an ace in this game, but the capture card crashed. So I had to wait for another ace, because I usually play these things until I ace it for reviews like this. But we went to that spot, got 5 spots, and didn't spot anyone, or didn't get any assists. And as soon as we leave, finally we start getting assists. Well, that's just the way it works. And you saw our speed was fast enough to get there, but it, once again, you max out at 60 rather rapidly. Like, you get to 60 and then you sit there at 60. It's like, okay, now what, you know? So, one more thing I forgot to mention is the fact that this has a 50% credit bonus, which is completely normal. Nothing, that's once again not special in any way. And 15% XP bonus, which again is a bit normal for this kind of vehicle. But now we're going after this artillery and this charioteer. Can we kill them? Down goes the artillery. Rage picks him up. Now we're going to go after this charioteer. Going to try to close the distance on him. And as you can see, the gun handling is not terrible. Alright? It really isn't. But then when you're a clone guy and you're trying to aim manually, you're bad. So go back to auto lock. And then we miss. We should have manually aimed that. But can we avoid this guy's shell? And you can see me zigging and zagging. This is this tank turning. It's a slow turner. But we set the guy on fire. And he explodes, which is nice. But then later in the game, we find these guys all coming back to defend the base, and we get shot by this T-44. Unfortunately, we had the 122mm, and that was just a bit unfortunate. But we're going to use these bushes, because these bushes are so thick, we should be able to shoot without getting spotted. That's the plan anyway, because we have layers upon layers of bushes. Like, do we have any shots there? No. How about down here? Okay. Wait for that guy to drive past, maybe? Okay, here we go. Ferdinand, fire a shell. We penetrate, damage him. But we don't get spotted. Now we get spotted because the T-44 poked, and he spotted us because we were not behind a bush for him. But can we finish this guy off? Maybe. Hello. You, maybe? No, back to this guy. Snap! Goes in. For some reason, this gun hits sometimes and misses other times. And you're going to see that example a whole lot in this, not in this game, but in this video. I've tried to show everything. The only thing I didn't get much of was me circling tanks. And that's... Actually, no, here we go. We're going to circle this guy, and you're just going to see exactly how bad this tank is at circling. It leaves a lot to be desired, let me tell you that. There we go. So here we... This is us turning. Look, I had to slow way down to turn. I had to slow it. And he's still going to catch us. If he wasn't low enough health, we would have died. Yes, that's a more mobile, heavy tank. But I really wish I got the KV-4s. I was circling a Verzilla and a KV-4. They were both platooned. I was circling the Verzilla first, and he was able to keep up with me. I killed him finally, and then I started circling a KV-4. No, I didn't kill him, actually. I had a bunch of assists. But yet again, the KV-4 is able to keep up with me, and they both were able to put shells into me while I was circling them. And unfortunately, that was right before my ace tanker when my capture card crashed. And so we didn't get the ace tanker, and we did not get that game. But we win this game anyway. Let's see what we got. We got another first class. So far, you're thinking, oh, these were pretty decent games. You know, they're not terrible. They're pretty decent. Yes, but now we're on Prokhorovka, one of the best light tank maps in the game. So I've decided to charge up the middle. Now, you have to realize, yes, your tank is a pretty good scout, but you're playing World of Tanks Mercenaries. A game that's, well, doesn't have much teamwork involved. You may be scouting perfectly, but your team is just not going to shoot anything. And that's just the way it works, even on this map. Like, we get all these spots, and this entire game, I was pretty much keeping these guys all lit, and we were not getting assist damage at all. To the point where I cut out a ton of this game, because it was just boring. We did get a bit of assist and a bit of damage, but they were sparse hits. Every once in a while, we poke up and shoot somebody. And so I didn't really care to show that. But, we're going after this T-71. He's shooting HE. There's a Bulldog in the back also shooting HE. And that should be it, right? No, I was wrong. There is a lot more in the back. There are so many tanks in the back that are just sitting on their spawn. It was ridiculous. They have a cruncher who literally has not even moved his tracks. He's still facing forward. Well, pretty much. He's actually all the way on the line. And you're going to see that later this game. But I skip ahead again because nothing happens. We get a bit of assist from that run we made. And then this guy decides to YOLO Rage Adrenaline. We're going to help him a little bit here. We put it... I don't know where that shell went. He was driving straight towards us. It just didn't. And that's just what this gun does sometimes. It's really interesting. It really is. But we help finish him off. By help, I mean we put one shell in, and we're pretty much useless to the cause. But that's okay. And you just see this thing turn. You'd slow down when you turn quite significantly. But now we're going to go and spot, and you're going to see what was shooting us in the back in just a minute here. Where is he? Where is he? It's pretty disappointing. There he is. Look how far back he is. He is on the very line. Not AFK, because he shot me earlier. That shell flies straight. And, that shell flies straight, which is pretty nice. And that shell, I don't know, that might have been poorly aimed by me. On the move, that one misses. Fine, we'll aim this one in. Hey, that one hit. And we finished him off. The gun actually shot pretty well, but that's all I'm going to do this game. That was it. 1600 damage, 1700 assisted. For Prokhorovka, that's actually not that great, but then again, their team was pretty bad. This is a landslide, which you don't usually get many landslides on this game. But then this is the next game. And I just said you don't usually get many landslides. With the +1, -1 is what I'm trying to say. I haven't seen as many landslides. But then for some reason, today it was just landslide after landslide after landslide. And this game is one of those landslides. And this one just doesn't make much sense. I showed you the matchmaking real quick. We're tier 9. Remember, everything we're doing, we're not fighting tier 10s. And we're also not fighting tier 6s. So technically, in a tier 8 game, you could do slightly better because you're fighting tier 6s. And in a tier 10 game, you could do slightly worse because you're fighting tier 10s. Then again, it can go both ways. So, this game is really interesting. This lightweight seemed to not know what he was doing. But then he was paying attention. Breaks my engine. So now we're like, okay, let's get out of here. We lost our engine immediately. That's something I've noticed as well. Unfortunately, the games you don't see, because capture card crashed. I kept first shells that would hit me would ammo rack me or break my engine or hit my fuel tanks. This tank is so compact that when you take hits, you lose modules, and that's just the way it works. And their team rushed the cap circle, by the way. Their team rushed the cap circle, and you're thinking, how much of their team rushed the cap circle? Their team rush the cap circle, and you're gonna see that. I have this cut up so that you see that, and you ask yourself exactly how my team managed to lose this game. Because remember, this is tier 9 game and tier 8. There are tier 8s and there are tier 9s. So what would happen if 5 of the enemy tier 9s were doing absolutely nothing? Your team should win, right? Like, no problem, they should win. It shouldn't be a 15-0 game. Oh wait, this is World of Tanks Mercenaries. They can have 5 AFK tanks, and they can still win this game. Look at these guys. Look at these Muppets on their team. And somehow, look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tier 9, actually 4 tier 9 tanks, 1 tier 8 tank, doing literally nothing. Sitting in the cap circle, all spotted by me. My team is not shooting them. One guy shot them. It was our Foch, but then he stopped shooting them. And they're doing absolutely nothing for their team. And believe it or not, let me fast forward a little bit. Ready? And boom. Our team is getting crushed 8-0. Those 5 tanks are doing nothing. And now I've isolated this guy. You are mine. And watch me circle him. Look how bad this is at turning. Look at this. I pulled the handbrake there to turn. I pulled the handbrake to turn because I could not beat his rotation. And because of that, it slows me down and I get hit by these guys. But we bounced off that guy. We bounced off of him again. And unfortunately, he's going to get away with it. And we're going to get shot in the back by a T-54, who I think just missed us, but he's going to hit us this time. Fire shot at that guy. Look at this thing turning. It's so slow turning. It's so slow. And there he goes. He finishes us off. And we lose the game 15-1, us getting the only kill. Of course, that had nothing to do with the tank. We were going to get crushed that game regardless. Because when the enemy team have 5 tier 9s, 4 tier 9s, and 1 tier 8 doing absolutely nothing, and yet they still win, then there it is. So here's the ace tanker I was talking about. I did capture the end because I turned off the capture card, turned it back on. And luckily we caught this part of the game, because this part is very important. There is a Panther 2. Broadside on. That one was a bounce, by the way. I checked the post-game results. That was a bounce. I checked the post-game results. That was a bounce. So, we just bounced off of that guy 3 times in the side. But then we're able to penetrate a Russian medium in the side. I don't know, this game just does things like this. I don't know why. It just does. And, yeah. So, that happened. That was quite interesting. So, in this game, unfortunately you don't get to see it. I was sitting on the other side of that, where that Panther was. I was sitting where he was, 300 meters from Batchat light tank who was spotting, and he couldn't see me as long as I wasn't shooting. So there's the camo rating coming into action. 32% plus my camouflage skill, plus Brothers in Arms, plus my camouflage on the tank. So I probably am sitting around 40 to 50% camo rating, which is pretty good. Set that guy on fire. Then we're gonna turn for this guy. Hello. And watch this guy immediately. He's got 14 tanks in front of him, but he's got to shoot the light tank behind him. What a guy. And because of that, our entire team pushes up and starts putting shots into him. He would have lasted a little bit longer had he kept his turret to the front. But there you go. That's it. Our team caps out. We do 3,200 damage, and we do, in fact, get the ace tanker. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Unfortunately, like I said, our team capped out. But it is what it is. Moving on to the next game. Now we're on Ruinberg. And yet again, this is one of those just landslide map games. It's just like, ugh. Ugh. So we rushed up to the middle to try to spot. We get a couple spots just to find out where the team is. And right away you can tell, okay, it looks like their team is going heavy town. Well, alright. That's some good knowledge there. There we go. Hey, we snapped that on. And I've noticed that with this tank. It seems like when you snap shots, the shell seems to go straight. But when you aim, it does not. But this guy, for some unknown reason, has decided that he does not like living in this world anymore, and he needs to kill the clone guy. So, let's kill him. Hello, Centurion. Let's go kill this guy. Like, what is he thinking? I do not know. I do not know what he's thinking. We put a shell into him there. He's kind of flipping his tank around. And, oh, can we get another one? Yes, we can get another one. And see, look, when I'm auto-locking with this tank, the shells go straight. And you're going to see, when you aim manually, nothing happens. You cannot hit things if you aim this manually. It doesn't make any sense. And like I said, the gun is super underwhelming, the 150 Alpha. There's nothing about this tank that screams, oh, it's a good tank, ha. But watch this. Here we go, aiming manually. Okay, he pulled forward, so that's to be expected that we bounce off there, but hello. Miss. Broadside on. Bounce. Shooting underneath the spaced armor. I'm aiming under the spaced armor. That one flies true. We ammo rack him. Aiming in the same spot. Bounce. Still aiming in the same spot. Bounce. Now aiming at his back end. Miss. Now aiming at his side. Bounce. The tank is frustrating. But then we had to go back to defend the base, and by the time we got back to base, the rest of my team was dead. So there's that. Yippee skippy. This guy had the small gun. I thought he had the big one and he had just fired, but he had the small one, so that allows him to get another shot in. And unfortunately, because of that, it's going to get me killed later in this game, but not before we farm as much damage as we can, because at this point, what else am I going to do? So we're going to use our 10 degrees of gun depression, because that's what this thing has, and we're just going to auto-lock these shells, because that seems to be the only way to hit anything in this game, or at least with this tank. And now, I don't think we can get any more shells on him. We try auto-locking. I just don't want to get hit by those guys. So now it is time to run. And we actually do escape these guys who are chasing me. But we run straight into that AT-15, who snaps me as I go by. I'm not spotted. As soon as I get spotted, he hits me. It's a pretty good shot there, I guess. But once again, it's a good team. Good team. And the gun. Don't know where that went. It did not fly behind him. It could not have flown in front of him, because I aimed that. Like, because of the latency, there's no way. I don't know where that went. It just didn't. But now, this game was actually an ace tanker. This game was actually an ace tanker, so I'm going to show it to you guys. Not the whole thing. I'm going to cut out a little bit again. But this was an ace tanker. Not because of the tank. Literally, it had nothing to do with the tank I was in. If I was in the Black Dog, which I wish I was, this would have been so much easier. Ammo racked. First shell that hits my tank. As you can see. That just seems to be what happens. And now we're going to go after this guy. And hopefully this guy misses. He doesn't even shoot, so we're good. But here's, look, this is why we get the ace tanker. Nothing special. I'm just auto-locking this guy. And this is pretty much the entire game. I just drive around, go blop, 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 blop. Hello, I'm going to shoot you. And that just seems to be what happens. And once again, it has nothing to do with the tank. I could be doing this in a Bulldog. I could be doing this in the LT-432, which would be better at it. I should have auto-locked that, but I decided to manually aim. And then he cut left. That just seems to be what happens in this tank. And, are we going to escape these heavies? Yeah, we're going to escape them. And we're going to cut ahead now. Oh, no, we're not going to cut ahead now. Just kidding. There's a cut there, but I didn't cut anything out. You know why? Because then I realized this is actually the ace tanker. So I'll just show it. Show you what happens in this game before we jump into the live game. And it's just, this tank is, I'm sure I'm going to emphasize that in the live game, so maybe I don't have to emphasize it here, but we'll see exactly what happens. Hello, M103. See, look, they're not looking at me. I could be doing this in a Bulldog, or LT-432, an LTTB, a WZ-132. This game, like I said, had nothing to do with the fact that I was in a T92. This tank doesn't bring anything to the table. It really doesn't. The one thing you could argue is the fact that it has 10 degrees of gun depression on a rear-mounted tank. Okay. Sure. There's that. Alright, congratulations. You have 10 degrees of gun depression. But look how slow this thing is. It gets slowed down by the littlest of things, too. And when we get killed later this game, once again, it just gets slowed down by the smallest of things, and that's what gets us killed in the end. But we're going to go after this artillery unit, hopefully. Here he is. Hello there, Mr. Artillery. How are you doing? We're just going to roll up and watch us circle him. I had to stop and pull the handbrake to circle him because the thing does not turn. It's a boat. And because of that, it's really hard to avoid shells when people are shooting at you. This tank is really easy to hit. Even though it's small, it's actually an easier tank to hit because, first of all, it only goes 60 kilometers an hour. Second of all, it does not turn quickly. And right there, you're like, oh, you just turned fast there. That's because I pulled the handbrake, and that caused me to stop my tank. But I was able to turn. That's because I stopped it. Tortoise spots us. He's kind of our next target, but the issue is the tortoise can turn quickly. I can't. And that's going to come into play later this game. It's just like, he can turn. I can't turn. But we're just going to go after him now. Use these buildings as cover as best we can. There we go. Zoom, zoom. And how close can we get? He's got his back up against the wall. This is not going to work. I just want to escape him. There we go. He hits us there. His tank's pointing one way. His gun's the other way, but he still hits us. Just the way it works, like I said, because you don't go very fast, and we are bobbing and weaving. Which does not work in this tank, by the way. If you're zigging and zagging, your tank is slowing down so much. But now look what we're going to do. We're going to go around the other way. And this felt like a good idea at the time, but unfortunately, the tortoise can turn rather quickly. This thing has a, remember, 3.6 seconds reload with my current loadout. And we're going to catch the very broadside of this guy. And I can't get another shell in because he turns too quickly. I don't even know if I would turn around that fast. I mean, yes, I would, but still. There's one shell. And once again, you wish you were in a bulldog. You don't have the better rate of fire, but you do have the better alpha. So there's that, which would help. And then this next situation is another instance where you wish you were in a bulldog, though it does actually work, all right? It's this guy right here. Remember, we have 250 alpha, and this guy has, I think that's 149 health. This Object 430U or 148, I can't quite see. But regardless, he's a 50-50 for us. And if I was in, let's say, a bulldog, he'd be 100% kill. He's firing heat, so because of that, actually, even if he wasn't firing heat, he would have done no damage. But we kill him there, and you see this guy? Watch this. We fix, but then look, we hit that bump and it slows us down. I don't know if we would have escaped without the bump, but regardless, he kills us. But we do get the ace tanker. Not 100% shabby, but still, I would have rather been in any other light tank that game, so... yeah. Let's jump into a live game now, shall we? Alright. Live game time. Let's see how well we can do with this very underwhelming vehicle. Oof. Eef. I know a lot of people are going to have different opinions on the tank, but this tank it's underwhelming. I've been playing it all day. I've been in a platoon with Rage Adrenaline and just... there's nothing special about the tank. You want camera rating? Then you can play the ELC even 90. If you want to be faster, you can play the ELC even 90. If you want to be more maneuverable, you can play the ELC even 90. If you want a working gun that actually works, then you can go play a Bulldog, a regular Tech Tree Bulldog, which is pretty much better. And then you can play the LT432, or you can go play the Hull and Hound. Oh my goodness, if I was in the Hull and Hound for half these games I played today, things would be good. But we're on Prokhorovka, so this is a good start. But once again, this is a map for our scout tank. ELC even 90 is a better scout. ELC 9 even 90 is just a better scout. Period, alright? Why? Because it's faster. It has, I think it has a better camera rating. I'll have to confirm that. You'll see it on the screen now if I'm right or wrong. And it's more maneuverable. So, but here we are. And keep in mind, guys, all the games you've seen me play have not been tier 10. It's been +1, -1. And the tank is still frustrating me, even though I haven't had to fight 10s. So just imagine fighting like IS-7s and E-100s and... well, we'll see, Of course, you're in a light tank, you're not supposed to be doing damage. But even so, you're in a game as developed as World Tanks Mercenaries. You don't get teammates. Alright, that's just not how it works. Teammates are not a thing. One thing you'll notice is I have a 3.63 seconds reload on this. If I was on PC with this loadout, it would be 3.8. So we have that over PC, but then ours has worse aim time, worse accuracy, which means overall worse on the move accuracy. And so yeah. So there's not really, like I said, a point to this tank in my opinion. Like if you want another light tank, then yeah, go pick pick this thing up. If you're that kind of person, if you're a light tank enthusiast, then yeah, pick this up. Otherwise, though, it just gets outclassed by every other light tank. The only light tank you could outfight, realistically, is probably the ELC even 90, but that's not designed to really fight. It's supposed to spot and then ambush and run away. That's what it does. That's its speciality. So this tank is something else. Leaves a lot to be desired, to say the least. I mean, and 60 is not even that fast. Like, you get up to speed immediately, but then you just sit there, and it feels a little bit underwhelming. That's my opinion, though. Remember, all of this is just my opinion, but it's just, ugh. Not a great tank. Not a great tank. Maybe I'll be wrong about it, and later I'm like, yo, this is an awesome tank. I don't know what I was saying. But, I do not think this tank is very good, because if you guys remember yesterday, I was live streaming, and we were playing +1, -1 all day, and we had like a 77% win rate. Today, playing this, it's just, it cannot carry its team. That's the issue, is it cannot carry. So, yeah, that is underwhelming. Use these trees, these bushes to mask our approach, and then to go in. Just kill. This thing is so light too, it can slow down by anything. It's a little bit also underwhelming. How obnoxious are you? Come on, guys. Come on, my entire team who's on this side. Fighting in 1 tier 7. Let's have a... Let's do something. Let's do our jobs. Don't know why I lagged right as I fired, but okay. Shell goes high. There we go, that one hit. Alright. Let's go scout. That's what we need to do on this map. I mean, they've given me a perfect map. This isn't even going to be a good representation of how this tank plays, honestly. Is this map. Because this is literally a perfect map. But you can see how underwhelming this speed is. I'm immediately up to my max speed, and then this is like, oh, now what? Okay. I really want those guys to start getting shot, you know, by my teammates. Well. So be it, I guess. I was camping. Just another reason to add to why I don't like this tank now. Like, seriously. The luck it has is awful. It has bad luck. It just does. It's cursed. You can tell by my tone that I don't like this tank. It's not very good. I would rather play any other light tank at tier 8. Literally. I don't know if there's a light tank I like worse, or I like worse. I guess that works. That I don't like as much as this. I really cannot think of one. We have the LTTB, which is amazing. LT432, which is amazing. ELC even 90, which is just a meme. I love it. The Bat Chat has a great autoloader, which makes it pretty good. The Bulldog is just better than this. The Hellhound is better than this. I love the Hawk 12. I've never played the WZ, what is it, 132? I've never played that, so I can't really say. I have played that, actually. I played it on a friend's account, and it was amazing. But that was back when it was tier 7. No, I can't think of any light tanks that are worse than this. I really cannot. I think this is the worst tier 8 light tank. It's just, it's underwhelming. You can find a better tank in every category than this. Except maybe for camo rating, but I don't know. Like I said, we gotta check that again. But like I said, you'll see it on screen whether or not the LC is better or not. So, anyway, that's the video, guys, I guess. We'll wait for the post-game results, and I'll just cut this, and I'll see you guys in the post-game, actually. Okay, we did manage to win this game. Thank goodness for that. Second class, 2,000 assists, 1,000 regular damage, making a point. Yay. Yep, there it is. The Falcon T92. I just want to thank the guy who bought it for me. I'm still going to have fun in it. I do love light tanks, so I'm still going to try to enjoy this tank as much as I can. But for the rest of you, I think I'm going to have to say maybe go for a pass on this one. Maybe. And if you're going to get it, just wait for the non-skinned version. Save your money on a tank that you may not like very much. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed. If you did, slap that like button, comment, and subscribe if you haven't yet. And I will see you guys all later. Take care, and peace out.